Aloha family, Spencer-Mack here. Wanted to talk on the topic of skin health, as it has been a repeated pattern in my environment and in the forum. I've had all sorts of skin issues in my history. I used to have some serious acne. I've had some kind of crazy red itchy rash thing I got when I lived in Thailand, and slow recovery from scars. One of the most impactful dietary or lifestyle habits that I have had to treat these scenarios has been a low carb diet. I'd like to add on top of that, out here in Hawaii we have a fungal growth. They call it haole rot. Haole is how they refer to basically anybody who's not Hawaiian. The meaning of the word is quite derogatory, but haole rot, also known as Versi tricolor, I believe, is a fungal skin infection. And it makes it look like you have these white patches of skin, discoloration in your skin. A real common problem here. All of these things I have found in my own experience feed off of sugar. The rash that I had when I was living in Thailand was like a heat rash, and it would come on rapidly with anxiety. It's mainly around my waist and my lower back. And I really noticed it when I was eating more sugar. I tend to be able to basically monitor the inflammation of my body by how smooth my skin is. And after multiple experiences over the years going on and off low carb, consistently every time when I drop the sugars for an extended period, my skin starts getting smooth. And then it just gets to the place where I just love touching my face. As funny as that sounds, in middle school and high school when I was growing up and I had acne, and I had this whole idea that it came from the oils on your hands or dirt, you just stop touching your face, you don't want to get dirt. But it's not an external issue really, it's an internal one. Sure, there's the idea behind blocked pores, different types of oils that you put on topically can help or harm the scenario. But that being said, whenever there's not anything in there growing or fermenting, there's nothing to worry about. Another thing besides just sugar is I've also seen that the skin health is a sign of intestinal health. If you are constipated, or any time that I've been blocked up due to, say, some fiber experiments I've done in the past, or overeating, it'll come through my skin. It's like your body doesn't have enough means to get rid of certain toxins, so they start to come through your skin. So really want to reiterate that point. Just if any of you guys are struggling with skin issues, dropping the fermentable carbohydrates is very helpful. Now, to a lesser degree, but still impactful, even being low carb, from time to time I would eat Quest bars, which the fiber ingredient is supposed to be a non-digestible long chain polysaccharide, but it still is like 20 or 30% digestible. About that much will get broken down into sugar. And if I do eat a bunch of those, I will feel it like a couple days later on my skin. So it just helps me to stay away from those things. And another thing, the video I shared yesterday, L-histidine, is an amino acid that has been demonstrated very clearly to be equally as impactful as some of those steroidal creams that people use for eczema. So that's extremely helpful. That, as well as glycine as an amino acid, helps to rebuild the skin. It's the main amino acid in collagen. So these are all very useful things. When it comes to topical oils, the polyunsaturated are actually more absorbable and less likely to block your pores. Saturated fats are the ones, even monosaturated, like olive oil, those are more likely to block pores and cause breakouts or acne. But all of that stuff, like the way my skin is at now, just from not eating any carbs for like a month and a half, it doesn't matter. I could put whatever I want to on my skin. I don't get a reaction out of it. However, potentially high amounts of saturated fat consumed uh, could lead to that, but I haven't experimented that or even tried that myself. So, yeah, how's it going? Hello, man. High carb, low fat detox. I do not. I don't believe in that. Most of the problems that I see people experience are because of carbohydrates, but everybody is unique, so I think you should experiment with whatever you feel drawn to try. So that was the main topic I wanted to touch on, with skin health, hydration, amino acids, dropping the fermentable carbohydrates, and having a clear digestive tract, like not being constipated. All of these things really help clear the skin up. And so that's my specific topic for the day. Then I want to rant on a few things, and that's going to be my approach. Specific rant, question and answer. So if you got any questions, please throw them up. On top of that, as you know, I've been experimenting with different amino acids. Something definitely threw off my circadian rhythm, because last night I woke up at about 1 o'clock and was awake till about 4, so I'm definitely a little tired. Went to sleep from like 4 to 7. At least I don't have to work today. That being said, I've been studying the amino acid L-tyrosine. Now, as I shared previously, there are 3 amino acids that do not stimulate insulin release, and those are arginine, tyrosine, and histidine. I talked a lot about histidine yesterday. L-tyrosine, a lot of people find is very useful when it comes to motivation, when it comes to having the will to work, so to speak, the drive to get things done. Doesn't necessarily boost cognitive function or athletic performance, but it boosts performance under stress. There are a couple of studies that subject soldiers to trials of fitness in cold weather, and tyrosine has been demonstrated to be very beneficial. So in moments or experiences of high stress, it's very useful. But what I'm seeing a lot of people benefit most from is it is a precursor to dopamine. Taking vitamin B6 with it is a good idea, because B6 is involved in the enzyme that converts it into dopamine. Also, apparently, potentially selenium and iodine are things you want to increase, perhaps even double the RDA if you're taking tyrosine regularly. But basically, it's a precursor to dopamine, which is all about drive, the will, the want to do, to act. It's a feel-good hormone, a neurotransmitter. So tyrosine, and as I said, it doesn't trigger an insulin response, so I feel free to experiment with it while I'm fasting. And when you have more dopamine, more drive, there's less desire to eat. A lot of people use it as an anti-anxiety as well. Understand, taken in high amounts, the opposite can prove true. Some people get anxiety experiences from L-tyrosine if they take too much. So always gradually increase the dosage. It doesn't have much of a taste, so I'm putting it in my water with my minerals and my other amino acids, and that way I get kind of this smooth dosage, because I believe the half-life of it is 3 or 4 hours. People say it kind of peaks, 90 minutes in, so by putting it in my water, mainly in the water that I drink morning and midday, I'm finding that really useful. So that's my current experimentation. L-tyrosine, precursor to L-dopamine. Some people like to combine it with 5-HTP, which is a precursor to serotonin. So those are some useful and interesting things when it comes to nootropics and fasting. Things that boost cognitive function and help you stay focused and centered while you're fasting are extremely useful. That being said, some people actually say it helps their sleep. Some people only take it before they go to bed. Other people only take it in the morning. So it affects people differently. If you have thyroid issues, be cautious. Always be cautious with supplementation of anything. But it produces a precursor to thyroid, some form of thyroid hormone, which boosts your metabolism, which can help people lose weight. My interest is more in the clarity of mind. It has been demonstrated to boost clarity of mind and cognitive flexibility under situations of lack of sleep, which I am in right now, and it seems to be working pretty well. So that's where I'm at right now. Tyrosine, skin health. Yeah, so I think I put my time being awake at like 2 o'clock in the morning to good use, good meditation, good breath. Like I said, I've been into the Tao Te Ching, the second most translated book in the world, if you've never read it before. It's such good medicine for the Western mind, for my mind in particular. So breathing meditation was pure gold last night. So I'm going to read some questions. If you guys got some, throw them up. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're not subscribed or haven't hit the notification bell, hit it so you guys know when I jump on. I'm going to work to do this more like a diary, have a focused topic every day, but then wander off into other thoughts and get some questions. Low carb for 2 months and my testosterone level is lower than low. What can I do? There's so many variables in that. What type of fat are you consuming? If you raise the amount of your polyunsaturated fatty acids, like in flaxseed and hemp seed, those have been demonstrated to raise testosterone level. So getting the right types of fats. How well are you sleeping? What's the mineral input of your diet looking like? What kind of stress levels are you under? And testing testosterone in general is a little difficult because it fluctuates. You got to make sure you test it at the same time to get an accurate readout, because it fluctuates through the day. If you've been training really hard, it'll be lower as well. But those are some things to look into. What else? I'm trying to remember one of these amino acids that I'm working on. It could be L-tyrosine, boosts testosterone. Nope, that's acetylcarnitine. Acetylcarnitine frees up bound testosterone. So that's something to look into as well, which is also very valuable amino acid and supplement to take while you're fasting, while you're doing keto, because it helps to turn fat into energy. Acetylcarnitine. Yeah, so I'd need really more information on your lifestyle, environment, stressors, diet to really give you a full, to get a full picture of what it might be. But those are the things off the top of my head. A lot of people that promote high carb, low fat diet. Yeah, just in my experience, hello man, is that high carbs are just guaranteed to increase the heat, as they say in traditional Chinese medicine. It's like damp heat is often what will cause acne, these fiery, hot kind of symptoms like eczema, like psoriasis. So just in my experience, what I've witnessed, dropping the carbs is the best thing you can do for your skin. Taking selenium, is that for skin or just to match the tyrosine? Because selenium goes really well with tyrosine. Selenium's an interesting one. It's in that formula Biomins. I'm really into the Thorne multi-mineral, chelated mineral supplement Biomins. Thoughts about GABA. Okay. I wouldn't take it directly. The precursors of GABA, you know, I can't recall if that's L-tyrosine or not. If GABA is like an inhibitory, and there's, I believe it's glutamate. When you have the amino acid glutamate, which is pretty abundant across the board in proteins, glutamate eventually is transformed into GABA. I don't have a lot of clarity on that. I'll dive in because I've definitely been seeing it come up a lot. So I appreciate that. I used to take it before I went to sleep to increase the potential of lucid dreaming. It's also anti-anxiety. Things that boost GABA tend to help you calm down. So perhaps L-theanine. Perhaps it was L-theanine that was a precursor of that. Tyrosine might, or not tyrosine, but tryptophan might be one as well. So yeah, I'm not an expert on that one. Yeah, you hear the chickens, man. No, I don't eat chicken. They're just spread all around the island. Ever since Hurricane Iniki, they got thrown all over the place. So they are actually a protected wild animal here. And I don't recommend chicken, really. If you were to go on, say, a keto animal-based diet, from what I understand, high-quality beef is perhaps the best meat to go with. As I said, I'm vegan, but what I'm doing right now is not really something everybody can do. So yeah, chicken just doesn't seem to have it. There's not as much iron and other valuable nutrients. And the chicken here on the island are all wild, so they're super wiry. Testosterone is created and released during exercise and muscle you tear. Got your legs a lot. Yeah, that's what's been shown. Compound exercises using the whole body, like the power lift exercises that they do in weightlifting competitions, are some of the most useful ones to boost testosterone and growth hormone as well. Well, it sounds like they're mowing the lawn here, guys, so hopefully that doesn't bother y'all too much. Conditions, seasonal and geographical conditions for keto. Great question. Definitely more applicable to colder climates, because that just tends to be the natural type available. Just general, if you're Caucasian and you're more from Eastern Europe or higher north, if your genetics are from higher in the northern hemisphere, chances are your genes are going to appreciate higher fat and higher protein more so than carbs. That's my experience. That's where I'm at with that. Appreciate you, Havoc. I always appreciate the questions, brother. God bless. I love people who are into God. It's gotten such a tarnished name, you know? Spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, for sure we do. Yeah, guys, that's about where I'm at. Lots of breath work, meditation, co-creation with your community. Been looking into more of the Hermetic texts, the ancient Egyptian philosophy, the root or source of alchemy, which is actually what came before chemistry, and studying the Egyptian god Thoth. It's pronounced a few different ways. Hermes is often who he's related to, the Greek god Hermes, the messenger god, father of alchemy, the father of mathematics, science, and language. And finding a lot of joy in exercising the word, in speaking and communication. It's a breath exercise. Rob Bell. I do not, my friend. I'll check him out. Thank you. Yeah, the Kabbalion. Exactly. The Kabbalion. You know, that was only written in like 1902. I thought it was much older than that. But the Emerald Tablets, though they've never been seen, at least in modern day, were recovered and written about, I believe, in the 1600s. And purportedly they were like 20,000 years old or something. These older texts, there are written, documented stories, information on Thoth, the Egyptian god, back in the days of Egypt. I believe it's 4,000 or 6,000 years BC. Really appreciating that power. Thoth. Am I doing that right? I think I've heard that. Thought. Nice. Thoth. Thank you, my friends. I love when I have people on this channel who are into a broad spectrum of information like that. Alchemy is fascinating. Just the symbolism of the elements and how we can directly affect our experience and the composition of our mind through both external and internal alchemy. There's also Taoist alchemy, which is equally old. The Tao Te Ching is, I believe it's like 5,000, might be like 2,000 years BC when that was documented. But Lao Tzu himself, the great master, was said to be like 300 years old. But Taoist alchemy as well, internal alchemy being Qigong meditation, breath work, and external alchemy being an understanding of herbs, minerals, dietary practices. Alchemy is the jam. Just about meditation. Thank you, Lewis. I love it. I love it, you know, because these realms of diet and nutrition are so mundane, but we're all going for that state, right? How to begin and how to maintain the habit of meditation, what types of meditation you recommend. Well, maybe I'll rant on that a little bit now, but go in a thorough video. But meditation in general, just to simplify it, if you've never read the Tao Te Ching, I love that book. But to simplify meditation, the practice of being still. It's not a doing, it's a non-doing. So placing your body, if you have a nice room, a nice chair, a good place you have to go sit and not be disturbed, going there at the same time every day. It helps to set a timer sometimes if you want to just make sure you're hitting this consistent amount of time meditating. And keeping the body still, making sure you're not fidgeting and moving, because that's still this form of entertainment or distraction. So you get in a good posture. I actually prefer either lying down or standing. Sitting, nothing wrong with it. You want to be able to put your body in such a place that it doesn't distract your mind, like the lawnmower is attempting to do. And whenever your body is still, bringing your attention to your breath is one of the most valuable focal points. See if you can pay attention to the breath without trying to alter it, just letting it go where it wants to go. And that's a full-time job. Staying relaxed so you get out of the way, relieving any unnecessary tension. So going to the same place every day and sitting your body in good posture and still, relaxing all tension, bringing your attention to your breath. Trying to be an open, expanded, empty vessel of the breath and let the breath just flow. In the yogas, the goal of pranayama or breath control is to actually reach the complete cessation of the breath, interesting enough. And when you're there for an extended period of time, the breath actually gets so minimal you almost don't see it. So you hear a lot of people talk about deep breathing, but that's not the intention here. We're not doing like a pranayama exercise. We're just bringing our breath as slow and as moderate as we can. It's a very gentle and subtle experience. And then you'll start to recognize when you're paying attention to your breath, you'll have thoughts come in. And you'll see how this image of this relationship at work made you hold your breath or made you take a deep breath. And you see how your thoughts directly impact your breath. And so it works two ways. It's a two-way street. If you learn to moderate your breath, your mind and the thoughts that you generate will begin to reflect a breath like that. So it's the simplest and most direct path through the eyes of the Taoist alchemists is complete absorption into the breath. So that's my current fascination in the meditation. Mantras can help too. I was saying a mantra last night when I was trying to get myself to go back to sleep. of I follow the breath to the sage. I flow with the breath back to the sage. And the sage in the I Ching or the Tao Te Ching is basically like the Christ, the enlightened one, the Buddha. We can follow our breath, our natural innate desire and direction, the inspiration to that state. So that was my mantra. I follow my breath back to the sage. I flow with my breath back to the sage. And when I had my mantra linked with the rhythm of my breath, well, I fell back asleep. But it brought me to a deep place of peace. And that is my main point of focus as for meditation. I'm playing with the idea of picking a mantra and sticking with it for, say, a period of a week. When you actually chronically, consciously get yourself to repeat a mantra, that affirmation will begin to run on its own. So perhaps you pick 100 times. They would have the meditation beads. You've probably seen monks using, the name of which I can't remember right now, but they'd use the beads to count their mantras, to count their breaths, and they would tend to use 108 beads. So say you pick a mantra and you repeat it that many times, that many breaths, all in rhythm, the breath with the mantra. By the time you've done that and you go off to do other things, guaranteed you're going to find that thought pattern, that reminder coming back to you. So if you can really define an idea that you want to be impacted in your psyche, that you want to help redefine your character with, that's an excellent practice for it. Mantra, they're called mala. It's a mala bead. M-A-L-A. Made from the seeds of the Rudraksha tree. That's an excellent exercise to reprogram and redefine your character. An interesting thing, I just heard this the other day, the word identity is made up of two Latin words, being and repeat. So it's basically the repeated state of being. And if we take this and we can understand how changing our habits, like our habitual thought patterns, can actually change our identity. What do we want to identify ourselves as? What is the ideal character that we would like to identify with? We have control and ability to shape this by repeatedly being an individual who practices character traits like that individual with that identity. So even though I just ranted big time on that, I'll make a video straight on that one. Appreciate it. The Robcast. I'll scope that. I think I wrote it down. I'll write it down twice. Robcast. I love it. It's the spirit, mate. It's the people who can blend it all together, right? So often I would see people who are far out spiritual, astral travelers, psychics, but their bodies were totally out of it. And then you see some people who are hardcore, jacked, really strong, but then their emotional connection and connection to spirit weren't there either. It's the ability to find a balanced way of being, a holistic approach, which I believe Alchemy and Taoism and Ayurveda really do well. Cool, guys. If there aren't any more questions, peace be with you too, my friend. The back roads. So it's been like half an hour. I'm going to try and jump on here about the same time every day. So if you got questions or want to jump on, come do it. If you're not subscribed, please do. If you find this might be helpful for other people, please share it. Hit the notification button so you know when I jump on here spontaneously like I do. And I always appreciate questions. So let's keep it going. Body, mind, and spirit, my brother. All of it, exactly. For shizzle. Awesome, guys. Lots of love, lots of appreciation. and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.